Just 1 minute, guys. Let me see. All right. Can you guys hear me now? Am I getting audio now? All right. Well, let me go ahead and start that all over again. All right, guys. Welcome into Beyond the Beard with me, Born Bearded Dave. Looks like it's going to be a solo night tonight with me. Raised Bearded AA Ron is spending time with the family. And hey, it's what it's all about, right? Making sure you have time to visit with your family and take the day. So, Aaron, I see that you're in here. I appreciate it, and have a good night tonight. All right. How is everybody doing this weekend? Did you guys make it through the weekend okay? Do you guys have any wins that you want to talk about since the weekend that you guys want to bring up and talk about today? Here shortly, I will be saying hi to everybody in the chat. And I will mention right now, guys, if I miss anybody, I apologize in advance. We do have some new people in here, it looks like, so that's awesome. All right, so let me get into saying hi to everybody. Looks like we have 15 people in here starting it off. First in tonight is Chris. Chris, appreciate you being here, brother. Tony, appreciate you being here, and thank you for the comment. And let your son know I appreciate him as well and taking the time to watch the videos. Let me adjust that just a little bit there. And there he is, Raised Bearded AA Ron. Aaron, I appreciate you being here. Hey, Yvonne, Alicia says hi as well. She has her hands full. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching in. We have Viking Papa. Viking Papa, appreciate you being here. Robert Allen, appreciate you being here, and congratulations on Dancy's win last night. That was awesome. We have Miss K is in the building. Babe, appreciate you being in and watching in. Romy, appreciate you being here, brother. Hope everything is going well with you. And we have Kenny. Kenny, appreciate you being here. And 3D, Donnie, appreciate you being here. Elon, appreciate you being here. And I appreciate the messages the other day on the comments the other day on the video. I really do appreciate it. Bearded JJP, appreciate you being here, man. And of course, we got to say hi to this guy, Baker. Appreciate you being here, brother. Silent movie. And we have Roger in. Roger, appreciate you being here. And now I've got to get caught up on the chat here. I think we got everybody. If I did miss you guys, I apologize. Like this guy right here. Can't go without saying hi to this guy. Chief, appreciate you being here, brother. Let's see. I think we have everybody so far. And let's see. I said he spilled an entire thermos of coffee this morning right before he had to get the beard ready. I could have got a truck or puking cuss words. I bet. Yeah, especially when that's the first start of your day. Yeah, you kind of like, well, I hope he's got to get better from here, right? I hope it did. All right. Let's see here. Make sure I got everybody here. All right, guys. So tonight, I think I want to go ahead and bring in a discussion about. Let's talk about setting boundaries and what that means for you, and how it can be a good thing for you. Got a couple questions to ask the chat throughout there, and maybe we kind of see where everybody else's mindset is with this, and kind of go from there. We got another person coming in. Phil, appreciate you being here. All right. And just double checking everybody can hear okay. Let's show me a thumbs up if you guys can hear okay. And if you guys wouldn't mind, definitely hit that thumbs up, hit that like button. And I greatly appreciate that as you guys are coming in. All right. Have you guys had any wins coming up from Saturday, or if you missed Saturday, have you guys had any wins this week that you guys want to throw out there? We'd love to celebrate those wins with you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Everybody saying hi. All right. Well, while you guys are thinking on whether or not you guys got any wins for this week, I'm going to go ahead and start bringing up the topic a little bit. Tonight I want to talk about boundaries, not in a therapy kind of way, but just kind of in a real life kind of way. Um, this is something I really had to learn the hard way, and and because I have, uh, it's made relationships a lot healthier. The boundaries aren't there to be cold or selfish. They're about being clear and consistent, right? Um, so I think boundaries are there to help make life simpler, not harder. Um, a lot of stress comes from saying yes when you really mean no. And then you kind of resent it later, right? Um, not the other person, but you resent yourself for not just sticking to it. Um, the boundaries can remove that mental back and forth that you have going. Um, for example, if your rule is I don't do things after 9 p.m., then the decision is already made, right? There's no scrambling, there's no excuses, no guilt spiral going on either. Um, so here's a question for you guys. How many of you guys have said yes to something and immediately regretted it? How many of you guys have said yes to something and immediately regretted it? Let's see. Chief said he was able to spend some time with his son today. Some good laughs. That's awesome. Yeah, let us know if you hear the dog snoring. She gets pretty loud sometimes. Went to my grand critter's parent teacher conference, and he's crushing the seventh grade or second grade. All subjects above grade level. So proud of him. That's awesome. That is awesome. Let's see. I've done that. Nice. Yep. Rob, appreciate you coming in, brother. Hope everything is going well for you. And Kenny says all the time, been working on saying no to people. Right. Right. Yeah, because I mean, we're just kind of yeah. I went for a long time of having set some of those boundaries and saying no, and then kind of having that guilt because I said no. Um, but those boundaries, once you get used to them being there, and you have to set those boundaries, and you can't just say, "Oh, I'm just gonna do this." You have to stick with it. Um, but it's for your own inner peace and uh, your own time. I mean, think about some of the if you say again, yeah, you're not going to work after 9 p.m. or you're not going to do certain things after 9 p.m. and you do it, you automatically regret doing that. And what's worse is people can start to get to the point to where Um, they use that trap, right? Saying yes to working OT when I didn't want to, immediate regret. Absolutely. My pleasure, brother. Nice. Uh, yes, Busy Bee walked out of his classroom one proud papa, and you should be. That's awesome. What's up? Break the stigma. Jay, appreciate you being in, brother. Absolutely. Let's break the stigma of talking about mental health, guys. Absolutely. And if you guys don't listen to me on it, let's listen to Corey on it. Smash that thumbs up, or you'll have 5 years of bad luck. Let's see. Yep, Rob, we were definitely me and Kay were just talking about you. Yeah. and I'm probably going to get a hold of you over the next 24 to 48 hours. Absolutely. Corey saying hi to everybody. So yeah, I mean, the reason I like boundaries is because it's easier for people to accept rules rather than excuses. If you're using an excuse of, oh, somebody asks you to do something for them, and you're just not feeling it. You know, having that rule of I don't do XYZ at this time, um, it makes it easier for people to accept that than the excuse of, oh, I had an appointment that I had to go to when you really didn't, or and it saves you from having to try to find that excuse too, right? So people push back on excuses, but they respect rules. Um, uh, Examples. Sorry, I don't drink on Wednesdays. Sorry, I don't lend money to friends. And that one was a big one for me to get a hold of a while back too. Not lending money to friends. If I can't afford to be without it, I prefer to give it to them if I have it versus lending it because you kind of get that. Okay, well, so and so didn't pay me back, but then they're thinking in the back of their head is, well, I'm not talking to so and so because I owe this person money. So I would much prefer to give that if I can versus loaning money of any sort. Um, but when you stand on things like, sorry, I don't make plans at the last minute. They sound firm, but they're not personal. You're not. There's not a personal dig at somebody when things like that happen. Um, because the point is, you're not rejecting them. You're honoring your own standards, and that's so important. Let's see what you guys got to say in here. Maybe those absolutely will. We've covered a lot of ground in that hour. Yep. What you got coming this year? Yeah, the same, Corey. Really look forward to seeing what you got going. My win is the fact that I'm finally signed up for a one-on-one counseling to hopefully learn to get my emotions under control. I've been a mess for most of my life and finally decided to start. Romy, I applaud that 1000%. Um, Sometimes it's not, and that is a great win for this week. Sometimes it's not about knowing that there's something that you need to be able to take care of. It's finding that courage to make that step to do it, right? So I'm very proud of you, and I'm very happy for you, man. I agree, Rob. It is hard because I think there's a part of everybody out there that wants to be able to help people as much as possible, and to be able to stretch themselves thin to help other people sometimes, and I get that, but on the other end, if it's affecting your mental health and it's affecting you time that you need for your own mental stability, then there's got to be some ground rules there, right? I think by saying no, people fear they may not be asked again in the future. Um, I think sometimes, but I think it depends on how you phrase it. If, for example, somebody was asking me to go to, a couple examples here. Let's say somebody was inviting me to go to a really busy nightclub and go hang out. So the no could simply be, No, I'm really not comfortable with that. I'm not good around a lot of people. I'm not good with big crowds." That's something that you're not just saying no to tell them no. You're saying no and give them the reason why. You're sharing with them that boundary. Okay, you know what? Let's take that out of the let's take that into consideration. And next time there's something like this happening, I'll probably go ahead and still ask, but I know within reason if it's a smaller thing that we're going to, like more of just a friends get together in a slower pace, then chances are this person might just say yes. I don't think it's I don't think it's going to definitely stop people from saying asking again, but I could definitely understand where that fear comes from. Proud of you, Romy. Romy, hell yeah, man. Absolutely. Way to go, JJP. Love it, Romy. Absolutely, man. And that's what I love about this community here and the people that are in here currently is, there's so many communities out there where, most people wouldn't even be comfortable saying this sort of thing in there because they're afraid of being judged. And what I love about it is you get these kinds of remarks, love a Romy, that's awesome. And hey, we're here to cheer you on, man. Very excited for you. Beard JJP, we all need to learn those skills. Nobody is born knowing how to handle every emotion or every mental challenge. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And, a lot of the times, growing up as well, there's some things that we're just not taught how to deal with those emotions sometimes, especially some of us men, we've grown up uh, being told to be stoic, to be, you know, don't overexpress your emotions, hold stuff in, work through it, rub some dirt on it. So, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. There's things you learn and things you can manage. Yep. Going forward. Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. And Aaron says, Romy, that's really good to hear. Everyone should feel okay getting help when it's needed. Absolutely, guys. And we're really gonna get deep into that portion of the discussion here soon. Um, because there's something that's really been weighing on my mind lately. And I really want to dig into it and I want to dig into it deep. And I think we could probably do that within the next couple weeks. I don't want to go ahead. I don't want to give any spoilers, but um, there's some things that I really want to make sure that I'm getting out there, and that with your guys' help and your guys' discussions, that we can get that out there. That way, if anybody catches it on replay, it can help them. And that's, I've said it once and I say it again. If I put through a video and it just helps one person, it made all that time for that video worth it. So, if they stop asking you for help, then they sadly were more than likely using you anyway. That's a good point. That is a good point. Jay says, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Yep. I did it years ago, but didn't get anywhere because I thought my therapists were cute. I'm making sure this dude, I get a dude this time around. Well, you, you know where the issues were. That's a plus. I'd rather go to the gym late at night than a bar. Now I'm older. I found what works for me. Absolutely. There you go. Let's see. Very true, Rob. When someone doesn't respect a boundary you've set for yourself, it says more about that person. And that's kind of where I'm getting to. Where I'm getting to, guys, is if you have these boundaries set, regardless of what that boundary is, and you have somebody who's continuously pushing that boundary, or trying to make you feel a certain way about having that boundary, then again, it's almost like they're trying to take control of a situation that they have no control over. It's not about them. It's about your own boundaries and how you want to be treated. Um, I mean, and that leads a question too. If you don't set limits, people will set those limits for you, and they usually won't be in your favor. Um, when you're clear about when you're clear about what you allow, people will adjust. Yeah, when you're vague, people will test. So be specific in those boundaries. Um, and here's another question: has anyone ever had someone keep pushing after you've said no? That alone can add to the stress. How many people has had somebody continue to push after you've already said no? Let's see. Exactly, so shocking in those moments, but after reflection, it really sets in and you're winning bigger than you imagine. Absolutely. Absolutely. I worked in the bar industry for 2 decades. I do not I do not want to spend the night in it anymore for fun. Right. All right. Abe, appreciate you coming in, brother. All right. 9-year-old daughter. Yeah, I think kids are kind of put there to kind of help push our, kind of pushing our boundaries. And you can understand, even from that, you can understand that your boundaries are being tested. And what does that do? It puts you in a rough mind frame. For one, it can make you quick to anger. It can make you feel devalued, like your boundaries don't matter. So, let's see. And Robert Allen says, "Yep," and I had to remove them from my life. Yep, I hear you. Everybody that you meet is not always intended to be in your life forever. Some are meant to be there for a time, and just for a time. And either a they've outgrown you or you've outgrown them. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Absolutely. Yep. All right. Let's keep going here, guys. So I guess one of the biggest things I want to say is respect for your boundary equals respect for you. Someone who respects your boundaries respects you. Someone who keeps pushing and showing you somebody who keeps pushing is showing you who they are. Um, when somebody ignores your boundary, believe them. That's not harsh, it's just honest. If somebody is ignoring your boundary, believe them. They need to respect your boundary as much as they respect you, and if they do, it'll show. Peer pressure isn't just something you'll experience as a teen. Nope. Peer pressure, you'll get peer pressure through work, and it's not just drugs or alcohol related. It definitely can be, throughout your life. Um, but peer pressure, I think that actually pushes into the boundaries as well. You know, you're getting pressured into doing something you don't wanna do. You're getting pressured to go somewhere you don't want to go. You're getting pressured to, spend time doing one thing versus what you have scheduled or what you have set for your day. Go ahead and remove that banner real quick because I feel like you guys are just getting the very tippy tops of my hands, and I feel like I got those little hands like a you know brewer uses from time to time. Yep. I've outgrown many of my childhood friends. Yep. And yeah, I agree, Aaron. You're 100% right there. The peer pressure is always going to be there. Um, you know, and you just kind of hope that it's not from the people that are closest to you, right? Right. And hey, and here's the thing too. You got to be able to tell that person, whether that's a family member, and if it's somebody really close to you, if you've set that boundary, keep it set. And you need to be able to have that courage to go to them and say, "Hey, even if it's a new thing, Let's say, for example, Romy. Let's say you're going into this therapy and you come up with, okay, I need to set this specific boundary. I've made a decision to do it, but nobody you know has seen you with that boundary. You need to be able to talk to that person and say, hey, this is set. This is a long haul. This is not going to change. If it does, you'll be the first to know. But at this point, this boundary is set. And you need to have the ability to do that. And if they get upset at you, how how much of a friend are they truly being, or a loved one in general? They need to understand your boundaries. Yeah, boundaries at first, they suck and they make your life so much more happy and you have more energy. But man, first they are tough. Right. I absolutely agree, Tyson. And appreciate you coming in, brother. Anyway, this is Tyson from Copper John's, amazing individual right here. And, I say this very often, but make sure you check out the Dad Bods and Beards podcast with him and Logan and many other guests. They do a great job on there. And again, don't forget about that book. It's an amazing book. I'm on my second read through, A Father's Guide to Mental Health. So, Tyson, appreciate you being here. All right, where are we at here? Yeah, you have to express it. You can't expect anyone to read your mind either. Absolutely. And that's where I think it starts coming into the relationship. You know, your own personal relationship. For example, me and Kay. You know, we've had to learn over the years that we need to be able to communicate with one another. We need to figure out where those boundaries are. I can't expect her to know where my boundaries are unless I've expressed those to her. Um, and vice versa. I can't just guess as to what her boundaries are. Um, that's where communication is so key to those people that are closest to you. All right. Boundaries protect your space, your time, and your energy, so you can show up. So you can show up whole. Absolutely, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, guys. It's you have to set those boundaries because I mean, so many people. I hear so many people say, "Hey, you know what? I do so much for work, or I do so much for work and other people, and these other things that I really enjoy doing." But at the end of the day, I have no time for myself. I have no time um, to just give myself even 30 minutes a day to really just dig in and feel good about being me. I don't have that time. These these are going to really give you that time and allow you to push forward. You got to make that time for yourself as well as with your family. Especially if you're doing something that actually pulls that time away from your family. There's got to be a stopping point where, okay, from here to here, this is what I'm doing. From here to here, this is family time. And it's once you get used to standing on those boundaries yourself, the easier it's going to be. Absolutely absolutely all right. Boundaries aren't walls, they're standards to teach people how to treat you. Absolutely. Yep, we just mentioned that, if you have a boundary there and it's a known boundary, you know, and they keep pushing, how much do they really care? You know, you don't have to explain everything to them. It's let them know where that boundary is. And if they are people that are truly meant to be a part of your life, they're going to understand it. All right. Um, and the boundaries that you don't need to over explain those boundaries either. You don't owe a long story. You don't owe justification. You don't owe emotional labor to it. Um, it's simple. That doesn't work for me. I'm not available for that, or that's not something I do. It's those simple, those simple three right there can make significant differences. You know, and as we were mentioning, the boundaries protect relationships. They protect resentment, they protect burnout, they protect blowups later. Um, most relationship problems come from unspoken expectations. Boundaries makes those expectations visible. So you got to get that conversation in with your significant other. The right people that are meant to be in your life, those people are going to adjust. The wrong people are just going to keep pushing. The healthy people adapt, unhealthy people try to negotiate your no. So you ever get those people that come off and say, "Hey, how about just this once?" The people that are negotiating your no are not respecting your boundaries. Period. Um, anyone who gets mad at your boundary was benefiting from you not having one. Let me say that one more time, guys. Anyone who gets mad at your boundary was benefiting from you not having one. If there's anything that kind of goes out tonight, I hope this one sticks with you guys tonight. And because I love that phrase. Anyone who gets mad at your boundary was benefiting from you not having one. Right. And, just like Tyson said, the boundaries, they're not walls, they're doors with locks. You decide who gets access. So, yeah, and that's exactly how you have to see it. You get to decide who can actually extend that boundary a little bit. So if I say, I'm going to be working from 8 a.m. till, 2:33 p.m. and all I'm going to do is record all day. All I'm going to do is work on this all day, creating content all day. Now, Kay can come off and say, "Hey, you know what? Why don't we take a little bit of a break and, we can go grab something to eat, spend a little bit of quality time together, and you can get back to that later or, tomorrow morning." You have the ability to open that door to allow that to come in. But of course, she already knows she's not going to push that either. It's a simple question. All this stems from is I asked Dave if he wanted to go to the pool, and he was a little iffy. Okay, Dave, I'm sorry. Jay, I think we actually had planned on that for a good portion of the day. It wound up it wound up getting a whole lot later, a whole lot quicker than I expected to. But Jay, I will say I miss you, brother, and I'm gonna have to get caught up with you at some point soon. So yeah, it's worth reading. Which one was that? It's called Boundaries by Dr. Cloud and Dr. John Townsend. Nice. I'll definitely look into that, Tyson. I appreciate that. Um, I'm gonna kind of go back through these guys because I was in the middle of trying to get my thought through. Um, Rob, it's tough one to learn when you're a natural person pleaser, but it's so important. I agree. Because again, if you really want to do things for other people and help other people, I applaud that. But you have to make sure you take that time for yourself. And if you have those boundaries, it's like, okay, you know what? I have these boundaries. So I have between, 3:30 to 8:30 p.m. to help people with XYZ. You got to set those boundaries so you have time for you. Um, absolutely is something I'm really trying to install in my 17-year-old. He is such a pleaser. I'm trying to save him from the heartbreak. You know, it's I love seeing people wanting to do for others. Um, but there's a point where, and I think as us guys, Rob, I think maybe you might be the same in this one. We've learned over the years that there's a difference in somebody asking for help and you going and helping and using the fact that they know that you will. It takes time to figure out what's what, but you eventually do wake up to it. Do you think that people that don't respect boundaries just won't just don't want to learn, keep repeating the same mistake over and over? I think if it's a new boundary that you set, they're going to try to push because they've always had you for this for as their quote unquote wingman, or to get you to assist them with things. They've always had that. So I think in their mind, it's taken them time to adjust as well. So be patient with them, but stand firm on those boundaries. I don't think that, I think for a vast majority of people, it's not that they don't want to learn. But you know what? You are the keeper of that key to the door that we were talking about. So in retrospect, if it's getting to the point where it's disrespectful because it's said, but it's not being absorbed and it's not being listened to, you have the right to lock that door. That's why you have control of that key. Can I take just a minute and say how much I appreciate you, Dave? You're such a wonderful addition to this community, brother. Thank you for showing up. Corey, I really do appreciate that. I mean, I don't know if you can completely understand how much the comments like this mean to me. Um, it means more than I can express. It really does, and I really do appreciate you, Corey, and everybody in here. Yeah, I look so forward to these live streams, Tuesdays and on Saturdays, and I look forward to getting new content out for you guys at least once a week and trying to get something new and something fresh out there to you, or my perspective on something. Because I mean, it's not like you haven't heard or you haven't seen certain subjects, come up, but you're getting my perspective on things too. So I, I really do look forward to that. And thank you so much, Corey. I appreciate you. I've had that pleasing mentally too. I've had that pleasing mentally too, so I'm trying to show him by experience. Right, right. And I was all the time growing up, I was labeled as the rebel. Because there's very few things that I didn't have to learn the hard way growing up, and I did, but it took some time. And I think as fathers, that's one thing that we want to do. We want our sons and our kids to learn from our experiences so they don't make those same mistakes. But you know what? Regardless of anything, they're human. Mistakes happen. Just be there for when they need you as much as possible. Let's see. Explain my work I've done so he sees it's possible, showing the benefit of doing it and how much better it makes you feel about yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely agree. Um, you know, People don't resist boundaries out of malice. They're understanding. I'm sorry. They're adjusting to change. Stay calm, clear, consistent. Respect grows over time. Boundaries aren't punishment. They're self-respect. Couldn't have said it better. Absolutely agree. So yeah, I mean, again, don't just go right off and snap at them. Give them time. Make sure you're firm in what you're saying, and that way they know that it's not just a one-off thing. It's something that means something to you. To be honest, Tyson is the reason I'm able to be so honest when starting therapy. He's able to put it out there on a dad bods and beards for anyone to view. So I'm able to share with these 20 plus fold. Absolutely. And I was telling Kay probably a couple weeks ago now that before we even got involved into the bearded community, because I was wondering, should I do like a radio show? Should I do a podcast kind of show? Should I do videos? Should I do live streams? So we started doing some research, and I believe that we listened to several episodes of Dad Bods and Beard dad bods and beards before we got into the community. So yeah, absolutely, Rami. Let's see. Absolutely. I can't. Yeah, absolutely. Mark Johnson, appreciate you being here, brother. Seems like you appreciate you being here. Alicia, sorry about that. I didn't see you pop in. I'm not ignoring you. I just didn't see you pop in. Plus, Aaron said that you were busy and had your hands full, so I wasn't expecting to see you. But I appreciate you being here, Alicia. Expecting help all the time equals entitlement. I think there's a line that can be crossed. If it's help that you're wanting to do and that you're willing to do, that's one thing. But I also think that if you have that boundary set, it's like, okay, this time frame is for me, or this, I don't know that it's necessarily entitlement, but I think it can get there. But that all depends on how much you bend your boundary to their will. Great question. Great question. Viking Papa, I'm a different person because of this community, and I'm just, and I'm not, and I'm not just talking about my beard. Absolutely, Viking Papa, I agree. This community is so amazing, has done amazing things for my mental health that it would take me all day to explain it. It's, I absolutely agree. Dave is all right, I guess. That Baker, he's all right. Make sure to check out Baker's live show on Sundays. Jay has a show on Monday nights with Dino. I believe he just got done with a uh, Slay and Spray where they do beer product reviews with Dino earlier today. Make sure to check him out, guys. Right. Yeah. This, and it does help you grow, and it helps you grow in the best way. Good people deserve to be acknowledged. So many wonderful people in this community. So many people looking to do better and be better. Absolutely. Very well said. Let's see. Salt and pepper. It's the chats like this that keep me tuning in. Right. Right. And I appreciate that, Viking Papa. I really do. And yeah, I know I mentioned it the other day in chat, but that beard's looking awesome, man. Loving that beard. Baker says, I've lost a lot of people, including family, because the boundaries are made of iron. Yep. Yep. And, and that's where I'm saying, those boundaries, if they are important boundaries, you got to stick with them. And, if they care enough about you, they'll understand. Also, still lose people in my life when the boundaries 50 years and people still test me. Yeah, it happens. It does happen. But again, is if it's a new boundary that you set, I can understand people not being used to that. But they got to get used to it at some point. Uh, Miss K says, Viking Papa, same here. My grooming has definitely been improved, but my life has completely changed for the better since being in this community, and not by something major, but small changes. Absolutely, guys. Those small changes, those small wins add up to be huge, big things. I'm not. I see you now. Okay, as we get older, we learn to appreciate the small things. Yep, absolutely. Let's see. I miss you too, brother. Sometimes overpressured day. I think about us chatting with our feet in the pool, and it calms sometimes just think about your brother. Gosh, you're so right about it. Right. Right. I absolutely agree, man. Small changes is the way a book called Atomic Habits helped me see that so clear, right? And there's a difference between losing people because you set your boundaries and leaving because you didn't want to try. Boundaries invite respect and honesty. People who leave often miss the access, not you. Yeah, absolutely. You got a man that speaks this, that lives this, and I absolutely agree, Tyson. Positive thoughts, having gratitude, learning how to have healthier, more productive conversations. All these small things that our community values and champions have really had an impact. Yep. Yeah, that's you know what? I'm really glad that you guys bring this stuff up too. I'm really glad you're bringing this stuff up too, because I do go back through the chats and I start writing notes of things that I want to pick up and read, or things that I want to try. So, no, Tyson, you're good, man. You can comment anytime you want, man. There's nothing but love and respect here. Uh, I actually know that I think about it. Growing a beard is a great metaphor for small changes. Absolutely. Thanks so much, Dave. Means a lot coming from your other. Yep, it does. And J Farm, I'm new around the community, but from what little I've seen, it's a group that raises each other up instead of bringing each other down. Absolutely, J Farm. It's is it 100% no drama? No. I mean, things happen. People get upset. Things get said. But we're growing enough to get through it. And but as far as having a community that's going to be there to pick you up when you fall or help push you forward, um, I've never seen a community like this. You have to be able to walk away from people that can't or won't change with you. Yep, yep, I agree. True North Beer Co. Chris, appreciate you being here. Hope everything is going well with you, Tara and Finn, and of course Lala. Hope she's doing well as well. All right. And if you guys haven't done so, if you guys popped in and forgot to do so, please hit that thumbs up. That lets YouTube know that you appreciate the content that you're watching. And I also appreciate you guys so very much. All right. Let's see. J Farm, yeah, 100%. I heard a quote today that fits with this community. The only time you should ever look down on someone is if you're helping them up. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Oh yeah, and by the way, J Farm, I know you were in last week, so if you would like to give out your first name, I love calling people out by their names, and but you're of course not required to, but absolutely, yeah, feel free to share your name if you'd like. Well said. Yep. All right, Jordan. All right, sounds great, brother. We will definitely keep that in mind. All right. Yep. And if I can't remember, Kay will. Just take a couple times for it to stick. All right. Chris loving the Outlaw and the Wicked Peppermint Wash. Oh man, I've been stuck on Outlaw since the first time I cracked that bottle open. So yep. All right. So question, since this is subject, I've been friends with somebody for almost 20 years. I have these set boundaries, and just recently they have been distance and questioned my boundaries. Advice on how to deal. You know, I can understand how hard that can be, especially being friends after 20 years. But if they're truly your friends, they need to respect your boundaries. You know, whether you want to make adjustments or let people in, that's entirely up to you. It's the advice on the boundary is a little more difficult without knowing what boundary. is being set. So, I mean, if it's somebody says, "Hey, I want you, why don't we go out and do this?" Well, that's not my life anymore, or that's not something I do. This is important to me, and this takes precedence over that. Um, but I can understand how hard that would be, with somebody who's been in your life for over 20 years, especially when you make that change to better yourself. Yeah, and that's the question too. Is the behavior towards the boundary new, or is it the boundary itself, Baker? It's a good question. And right, keep those boundaries set, and if they don't listen or change, it might absolutely be time to reevaluate the friendship. And I agree with that, because we don't just set these boundaries just to be a-holes, right? That's not what these boundaries are for. These boundaries are for you. These boundaries are for your mental health. These boundaries are for to give you time to be able to be with your family, or to be, to do things on your own. Setting these boundaries, if they are there to better you, they absolutely need to understand. And if they don't, it may be time to reevaluate. Let's see. But absolutely give them the chance by listening, by saying, "Listen, this is my boundary." Absolutely. I mean, once they hear that it is, this is just the way it is, either they'll understand and they will adjust to your boundary, or they won't. I absolutely agree. It is more difficult with family, but sometimes it has to happen. With family, it could definitely be difficult. I mean, you've grown up with these people for most of your life, and when you set a boundary that they're not used to, sometimes you'll get more pushback from family than anybody else. So, but you have to stand on that, because you ultimately made these decisions and these boundaries because it was in your best interest, right? Boundaries have not changed. I'm Irish, very stubborn. Yeah, absolutely. But family can still be toxic for your mental health. They absolutely can be. Family can be toxic for your mental health, and you have to protect that. I mean, I think one of my outros, says it pretty well. Um, you're in your own mind a lot. Make it a nice place to be. You just need to, once you have those boundaries set, you can work on the mental health portion of you. Um, oh, absolutely, Baker. We're here for you anytime, man. You ever just need to talk and want to talk things through? You have my number. Feel free to contact anymore anytime, and we'll get into a one-on-one conversation if you need to, man. All right. All right, guys. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and liven it up here a little bit. I like getting into the deeper conversations. I love these deeper conversations, and I do this in hopes that somebody's going to get something out of this. And again, if one person gets something out of this, it makes the whole thing worth it. We've been talking on this subject for an hour now, and it didn't even feel like it. But I don't want to just be down all the way through the live stream. I want to go ahead and pick things up too. So let's go ahead and start with this. I want you guys to let's see. Let's shout out those small batch companies that you have in beer tonight. Um, art jokes coming out now. Might be. Kay says family can definitely be toxic. I'm one firm belief that blood Relation does not permit you access to me no matter what forever. Uh, that being said, relationships of any kind take work. So talk. Absolutely. And that's got to go. That's, that discussion has to be back and forth, and either they'll accept it or they won't. Okay, finally, the food talk. All right, guys. So I want to go ahead. Let's just go ahead and shout out the small batch companies that you guys have in beer tonight. Want to show them some love. Let's do what products are you wearing and what scent. Let's see. Jay has got some Bane blends in the Royal Creed. That's one that I recently looked into after you guys mentioned it today. It sounds really good. And the Mahogany Oak. That's probably one of my favorites that I've had from him. Johnny Ray Genesis oil for me today. Nice. Appreciate that. Let's see. I have my own oil blend in right now and Dr. Nick's butter. Awesome. See, I gotta break down and get my hands on some Dr. Nick's. I have not. It's sad to say that I've been in it this long and haven't gotten a hold of any of the Dr. Nick's yet, but it's probably pretty close to the top of the list there. Is Dead Man's considered small batch company? Dead Man's Beer Co. Yep. Death by Citrus and Beard. Nice. TMBC, the Quest Oil, and shortly Quest Butter. Nice. True North Genesis Oil and Butter for me tonight. Nice. That is their full essential oil blend right there with the Genesis. Awesome. So night routine is wake up from TMBC and the derma roller tonight. Derma roller night. Okay. Baker, how often do you use the derma roller? Is it once a week? Just out of curiosity. Emerald Oasis from Weatherbeard. Awesome. Viking Papa has Copper John's Skipper oil and butter. That's awesome. Dead Bands would definitely be considered small batch. Yep, absolutely. Let's see. Live Bearded Tombstone. Really close to finalizing my first order of real small batch company. Awesome. I'm looking at Raven Beer Co. Nevermore. It's a good oil. It's he has so many different carrier blends for his oils. You're most likely going to find something that you like. And I would say there's probably 99% of his oils that, from what I've tried, have always done something a little bit different. So, Raised Bearded has Beard Octane Victory Oil and Butter. Nice. Tried the Outlaw from TNBC for the first time. Beard Octane Neutral Butter. That's some good butter too. I do like their Beard Octane's butter. I would say that's probably, how do I put it? It's probably the most similar to TNBC that I've seen. They do have a good butter. I mean, TNBC, everybody knows that's in here has heard me talk about TNBC butter as being, to me, it's the goat. It's one of the best butters I've used. But as far as the consistency of the butter, Beard Octane is very close. Elite Grooming, Wiseman Oil and Butter. Nice. Dr. Nick's is a great product. Yeah, I've heard. I'm really, I got to lock down and get a hold of some. Let's see. Once a week, I like to derma roll while you talk. Does it help relax you? All right. Tony, what'd you think of the Outlaw? That was Dave's first TMB sea oil. Yep, it was, and it really got me it really hit me with a nostalgic feel. As soon as I smelled it, I immediately remembered, when we were younger, and Dad would be getting up in the morning, kind of just smell his cologne, and you know, it just hit me really hard in the nostalgia. Let's see. I missed one here. Jess, appreciate you being here. Hope everything is going well for you. And if you're at work, I hope you get out soon. Not sure if you're at work tonight or not, though. Let's see. It was my first oil from TNBC too. Yep. It was a lot of people's first. Yeah, it's a really good scent. Kind of your classic cologne kind of scent. TNBC is also my goat, and I agree. Beard Octane is the closest to them, even the 4 ounce size. Yep. My first TNBC was Lost Boys oil. Nice. Yeah, that one's actually pretty good too. There's a lot of them that I was able to kind of uh, sneak a smell into over at Worlds that I hadn't smelled since before then. Abe says his first oil from TNBC was Wicked Citrus. Outstanding. Nice. I'm really enjoying it, Kay. When I first cracked open the bottle and sampled. Wow. Also have Quest oil and butter. Great. Awesome. Let's see. Not my first oil though. My first oil was Beard Octane. Nice. First TNBC was Midnight Mass. Nice. I think my first TNBC was Irish Goodbye and House of Wolves. Yep. Nitro's good too. Nitro's good too. Nice. We're big fans of that one too. It's a staple now. Yep. Which one? Which one, Kay? Outlaw? Yeah. Yep. It's one of those that I always make sure I have on hand because there's times where I'm just like, yeah, I just want to throw it on. And it's such a good blend. And then you have, there's so many great oils out there and great scents out there that the hardest thing sometimes is just making the decision. Uh, how much oil is in a dram sample? I believe I think it's a 5 millimeter or 5 milliliter dram, if I'm not mistaken. Give me a second. Let me take a quick look. I believe it's a 5 milliliter dram. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, I clicked the wrong button here. Let's see. Sample pack. It doesn't say on here. I believe Chris from True North is in here, and I believe it is a 5 milliliter dram. If not, if I find out that that's different, I will go ahead and message you and let you know. But yeah, that sounds about right. I love coffee. Blueberry Mountain Hood is great as well. Yep. Yeah, I wore which one was it that I wore the other day from Copper John's? It was Ozark Trails. That's right. Wore the Ozark Trails from Copper John's the other day, and I forgot how much I really like that one. Yep. My first TNB oil was Buzzkill. Nice. Chris, you still here? Right. I was at Aaron's and Alicia's the other day, and I got a sample from. I got to sample some beard oil scents, and I really love Victory by Copper Johns. Yep. That one is pretty unique too. I do like Victory. I like Woodstock, but the other half does not. Yep. All right. Excuse me, guys. Just a second. Sorry about that, guys. Little frog in the throat. Jess, have you sampled Sundance by Copper Johns? That one is a really good one as well. Baker says that it's a 3.7 millimeter or milliliter. Jesus, I keep saying millimeter. 3.7 milliliter. I'm just gonna stop. That right there, that's what it is. 3.7 milliliter is dram. All right. Thank you, Baker, for that. All right. Tonight, let's see. Today I had in Christmas at Baker's, and I think tonight. Ooh, what do I want to put in tonight? Because I typically tie in at night when I'm going to use the next morning. I think tomorrow's going to be a blackjack day tomorrow. Yep, hard's a word. Words are hard. Yep. Let's see. All right. Sometimes. Yeah, Victory by Beard Octane is awesome. Yep. Yeah, they have some really good scents too. I think everybody knows that one of my favorites is Grizzly Puncher. It just, yeah, I really love the Beard Octane Grizzly Puncher. And then you have, one of my favorite nighttime scents is um, Nightfall from Small Town Traditions. And then you have the Barbershop from Ravens, and there's just something about that one that just it does something amazing for my beard, and I don't even know. I haven't even been able to lock down exactly what that is. Bane Blends, he's got some great stuff. It's just there's so many choices. It's hard to pick choice. It's hard to choose sometimes. Yeah, I think that's got the gunpowder and the mint in that one. Mating ritual. Mating ritual is not my cup of tea, but Miss K really likes that one. Positive charge and onyx. Onyx, I have not been able to get my hands on, but I've wanted to. I've been kind of holding off to see if they're going to get like that onyx pack again, and I definitely want to get my hands on that. Yeah, it does sound amazing. I want to try that one as well. And yeah, it is. It is. You know what? You might. Are you thinking of Freedom, babe? Might be Liberty. Yep, it's Liberty. Liberty's the one with the gunpowder. Yep. Right. Let's see. Let's see. I have so many companies I want to try. I'm trying to pare down and re-up. Yep. Yep. Who going to the New York? Who's going to New York in March to see Beard Octane and Dancy? This is in March. Woo! Don't know that one's going to happen. Not for me anyway. Not going to make it all the way to New York at the moment. Kaya, what are you doing? All right. Well, she wants to say hi. I'm going to say hi, everybody. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm a big fan. I grabbed it in their anniversary box and glad it's mainline now. All right. Yeah. Yep. Same. Yep. I might try a Baker. Uh, yeah. I don't think we're going to be able to make it. That's a little far, and there's one that I know that I'm definitely going to make it to, and once I have everything saved up for that one, then I'll be able to say, okay, I'm going to save up for these, and then see which ones we can make it to. Because I also have to be able to get the time off. So, I think my next purchase will be Sweet Bastard. Yeah, that's pretty good. If you like, oh, what is it? If you like Skittles, you'll like Sweet Bastard. Let's see. Yep, that's the puppy or horse or whatever she is. I don't know exactly which one she is most of the time, but salt and pepper. It's 2 hours for me, so I think I might. Nice. IBS for us. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's closer to me. I work down that way in Jersey now. Nice. Pepper. Yeah, I think it's going to end up being one of those that I wish I can get to, kind of like the one going on in Texas. I believe is coming up this week. Yeah, I wish I was able to get down to that one, but it's just not going to work for me at this for this year anyway. IBS could have some fun with that. Used to work with a girl who did anyways. Oh, yep, there she goes, taking off with my ring light. All right. It's good. A very Skittles forward, strong at first, Lux scent, but it's EO, so it will dissipate unlike his others very much quickly. It will definitely settle quite a bit. Um, you'll know that it's there, but it's not going to be just going out there for hours and hours. You're going to get some longevity out of it, but it's not going to be, punch you in the face all day strong. It will settle a little bit. Skittles, yeah, yep, yep. Keep me informed. S&P. It's Sunday through Tuesday. All right. Well, hey, at least you told him why. Crop dusting. Yeah. Yes. Whoever said the fart discussion was coming, which I think is Baker. Uh, Thank you for that. You put it out there in the ether. No, I haven't sampled it yet. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if I missed something here. Maybe not. Yeah, where is it at in New York, Baker? Hey, if she was dropping that Agent Orange. Baker, also the one who brought up IBS. Yeah, I think he's just kind of been on his mind. Uh, my wife really, really likes that Sundance by Copper Johns. It's a great scent. It really is. It's not it's a citrusy kind of cologne scent, but it's not overly citrusy. If you guys are hearing the scratching on the floor, I apologize. My dog does not. She almost has to drag her toes across the floor. So that's what you guys are hearing. I apologize for that. But all right, guys. I think uh, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up for tonight. Um, and again, I want to tell you guys, thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you for letting me get this subject out about boundaries today. It really helped me to be able to just kind of talk this out with you guys and get your guys' feedback as well. Um, I really do appreciate you guys. We will be back on Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Bearded Kin. So please don't miss that if you guys have the ability to get on that. And if you guys are watching this on the replay, I appreciate you guys. And with all that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and say good night. And let's remember, let's break the stigma. Let me try that again, guys. And remember, let's break the stigma of talking about mental health. I'm Dave, and I will see you guys later. Love you guys.